Hey guys, so I pulled down that first video because I had a misunderstanding of how trauma works. Now, it doesn't say on characters' kits they can't spread trauma, but it is coded into the trauma debuff that it cannot be spread. So it's going to change some of our theory crafting, but not too much. I digress though. I get to make 2 Envoy videos now instead of 1 for my first time. Woohoo! So we're going to talk today about the Dark Hunters, the new Apex War Offense team. I'm very excited about this team. They counter a team that has been a thorn in my side forever, and we're going to talk about it. But first, let's break down some kits, starting with Morbius. We'll start just with his traits. He is a Villain City Controller Mystic Dark Hunter. His speed is 128. I'm not going to include his other stats like damage, focus, and resist, just because that's going to vary based on the star level you get, red stars and yellow star wise. I will say, however, he leans towards heavy damage and heavy focus. His basic attack will do 200% damage and steal 10% health from the primary target, redistributing it to himself. This will bypass heal block, so it's a really strong ability. And in War Offense, it's going to apply 2 bleeds. So if some of these attributes apply to his ISO attack, you're definitely going to consider Striker for this character. Next, his special, not complicated either. He attacks the primary and adjacent targets for 250% damage and applies 3 bleeds to the primary and secondary targets. Now, mind you, all these abilities have T4s on them. Some of them might be different at ability level 6. For his ultimate, he's going to start at 5 of 7. That leads you to believe he can't use his ultimate turn 1, but we'll see about that. Maybe later in the kits we'll see some energy distribution. He's going to attack the primary target for 450% damage, flip defense up and deflect, and then he's going to chain 4 slots, also flipping defense up and deflect. On War Offense, this is where this character gets crazy. If this character has 3 Dark Hunter allies, he will apply Trauma, Heal Block, and Disrupt for 2 turns to Hero City primary targets. Is there any Hero City defense team that gives us problems? We'll talk about it. And he's going to apply those debuffs to everybody he hits on this attack. Now, counterattacks will break this chain. However, in War Offense, where we're using this character, he cannot be counterattacked and it cannot be blocked, which is really good because then we're not worried about boosts. Next, we got to talk about his passive. Very good passive as well. He gains 30% piercing damage, which is crazy. He gains 20% drain for himself and Dark Hunter allies. And in War Offense, on spawn, if this character has 3 Dark Hunter allies, notice the number 3 there, he'll apply blind to the 4 highest damage city hero enemies. That's very important. If you think about a team, I don't know, like say Heroes for Hire, it's going to blind everyone except Luke Cage, which could be very impactful. If this character has 4 or more Hero City enemies, he will gain 300% focus. That's nuts. You're not going to have to worry about making him a skirmisher against Hero City enemies. He will gain 30% damage for himself and Dark Hunter allies. Next, we got to talk about the other new member, Dr. Voodoo. Yes, a fan favorite, a very fun character. If you haven't checked out his comics, I suggest you do so. His traits, he is a hero, global, support, mystic, Dark Hunter. So we have 1 controller and 1 support coming into the game. His stats weigh heavily towards health and focus, and his speed is 120, so he's not the fastest, but he's not the slowest either. His basic will transfer 1 death proof from the primary target to himself, do damage 300%, and heal self and all Dark Hunter allies by 8% of this character's max health. Now, he is heavily weighted towards health, so this is going to be a big heal. Next, we have the special. This is going to be your opening attack. It's a very cool attack. It's going to apply ability block and defense down to the primary target and defense down to adjacent targets. It's then going to mind control those adjacent targets to attack the primary target, and the controlled enemies gain 30% damage for this attack. This is a very interesting new mechanic that we kind of get to choose who's getting mind controlled, as long as we can work within how our enemy place them on the field. He's then going to bury yourself and Dark Hunter allies for 30% of his character's maximum health, and non-Dark Hunter allies for 20% of this character's max health. And on War Offense, this cannot be blocked. Again, this is really good when you think about boosted teams. He's still going to land those abilities through the deflex. Next, we have the ultimate, a very powerful ability, though it starts at 4 out of 8 energy, so you need a lot of ramp up to get to it. It's going to steal 20% health from all enemies and redistribute 150% of that health to all Dark Hunter allies, bypassing heal block. So if your team is really low and about to die, it's going to bring them right back up to healthy, which is incredible. It'll also clear all negative effects from Dark Hunter allies, and in War Offense, it's going to give immunity to Mystic allies. Notice they're making a distinction there. And this attack ignores death proof. So if they're below 20% life and they have death proof, it is still going to kill them. Next, we got to talk about his passive. His passive really does bring the team together. So he gains 5% speed on each deathproof stack up to a maximum of 25, which is going to be 5 deathproof stacks. He gets deathproof from a variety of sources, though I don't think you're going to hit that 5 stack in most fights. When this character drops below 50% life, he gets a deathproof. When an ally dies, he gets a deathproof. He gets a deathproof from his basic as well. We talked about that. He'll steal it. And when an ally dies as well, he's going to apply offense up to himself and all Dark Hunter allies. While 5 enemies have speed up, all allies gain 30% crit chance and crit damage. This is going to be great in, say, a matchup like Heroes for Hire, where when Misty gets a kill, she's giving speed up, and speed up's coming from other sources as well. In War Offense on spawn, if this character has 3 or more Dark Hunter allies, generate 2 ability energy for random Dark Hunter allies that were not at full energy. So that's going to be your Morbius, letting you ult on turn 1. Your Dr. Voodoo is going to be 2 points closer to his ultimate. It's going to make your Ghost Rider be able to use ultimate on turn 1 as well. Speaking of Ghost Rider, let's go ahead and look at the reworks, but not in that order. We're going to start with Elsa first because she got the most love out of the reworks. So she got some nice stat increases, good 30% to her damage, 30% elsewhere as well, 50% armor, but she's still going to be very squishy, 4% focus, but she doesn't really do anything focus, so you don't have to worry about that. Trait, she did get the Dark Hunter trait. Her basic did get a nice damage increase, her special got a slight damage increase, and her ultimate got a damage increase that's pretty good as well. But more importantly, it's not going to be a permanent kill ability. So like Black Bolt's passive, Silver Samurai's ult, Kesho's ult, when an enemy dies to this ability, they're dead. They can't be rezzed. And on War Offense, it can't be blocked. Again, a nice shout out to boosted teams. They're not going to be blocking this attack when she has Dark Hunter allies. And her passive, the Dark Hunters, like Supernatural, are going to increase her accuracy, making her more and more immune to blind. So then we follow up with Ghost Rider. Now he got some stat increases too, but not as much. He was pretty good as far as damage goes, but he did get 25%. Most importantly, I think, is his focus increase is going to help him land his bleeds, defense down, and offense down. He also got the trait Dark Hunter, and now on his ultimate, when he's charged, it cannot be blocked. So he's still going to land those debuffs into blocking enemies or into deflects. His passive, his focus increased from 30 to 40% for self and all Mystic allies, not just relegated to the Dark Hunters. And as far as Dark Hunters go, they got his health from his passive, I think it's 50%. They got his speed bar bonuses, so when they apply negative effects, and same with Supernatural, they're going to get speed bar. And on death, he's going to give 2 energy to them as well. On his death, not on an enemy death. Last but not least, we have Mordo. He got arguably the least amount of love. He did get the best stat increases. Mind you, his health, damage, and armor still very low, so you're not relying on him for that. His focus was a nice jump though at 46%. He did not get the Dark Hunter tag. So we talked a little bit earlier how everything requires 3, gives energy to 4. There is only 4 Dark Hunter members in the game right now. That leaves room for a 5th. So maybe we'll see Blade down the road or some other, maybe Werewolf by night. There's a lot of options. So that's pretty cool. His special though did get a nice revamp. On War Offense, it can't be blocked. Again, that's a shout out to boosted teams. And if 4 or more Mystic allies are with him, the chance to blind additional targets is increased to 75%. So obviously this team is made to take out the Heroes for Hire. Lots of shout outs to the hero teams. So let's go ahead and watch this in action. I'm going to pause sometimes along the way. So right away you see they all got blind except Luke Cage. They're all going to take their attacks now and miss everything. But it's important to note right there, Misty Knight did just lose her blind. So now when Colleen takes an attack, watch right here. Misty gets called in for the assist and does damage to Ghost Rider, making him the least health target. That is not guaranteed. Colleen does not always target Ghost Rider. That just happened to be the case here. So Misty Knight did the assist attacking Ghost Rider, which is going to make him the lowest life, which makes Colleen beat him up. And that's going to activate Ghost Rider's passive, giving energy out. That's not always going to be the case here. Keep that in the back of your mind. So he'll miss here as well, Iron Fist. Their attacks are unavoidable, but they can miss, which is why blind works. But here comes the fun part. Morbius goes in, he puts all these debuffs through the deflects, he doesn't care too much, and that is the same as Weapon X, right? That heal block plus trauma. He has Disrupt for good measure, so it's a very, very strong attack, very anti-Heroes for Hire. So there you go, Colleen is already on death's door. Here comes the attack from Dr. Voodoo, that mind control. And now Elsa attack comes in, almost kills them, but gets blocked by the death proofs. Now here's a misplay, and I think this misplay was put on purpose to showcase how Dr. Voodoo's ultimate in conjunction with Ghost Rider's death works. He's using the ultimate here. I don't think that is the right play. There's already heal block for 2 turns because of Morbius. This doesn't do much damage. His blind, his special would have been way better to stop people from dying. But as you see, a little bit of damage, it's whatever. Mordo does very, very little in this matchup. So here we go. Ghost Rider's getting beat up all over the place, and I think this is why they did it. They wanted Ghost Rider to die. To show right here, I'll pause it if I can time it. There we go. See, 2 energy given to Morbius and given to Voodoo. That's going to let Dr. Voodoo use his ultimate, which is devastating. Now you see 3 energy here. That is because Mordo is giving energy out. So I guess it's nice that he gave energy to Elsa, but she's stunned now anyway. So Morbius goes ahead. He's going to take Iron Fist down a little bit. He obviously can't heal or cleanse. He had heal block. He had trauma. So his passive is doing absolutely nothing. And now here comes Dr. Voodoo. Despite the death proofs, he's going to kill everybody but Misty. And then they're going to 4v1 Misty. So that's how this matchup worked for them. I don't think Mordo does enough in this matchup using his ultimate. Now, if you used his special, you could probably get through it. And they're definitely designed to counter Heroes for Hire. But I think that this matchup was close enough to say that this is going to be punch across territory, maybe like 50 to 75k up, depending on how your characters are built. You're going to want a big Morbius and a big Dr. Voodoo. But that leads to the question, does Mordo even matter? Because if they can get through the matchup with him using ultimate, I mean I know Ghost Rider got targeted there, but if they can get through the matchup without it, is there somebody who we might have invested more in already that we can sub out for Mordo, maybe even make the team a bit better? And that made me immediately jump to the other supernatural members, of course, because they're going to have lots of synergy with Ghost Rider, getting that turn meter, getting that health, really good stuff. But Scarlet Witch, really low on armor. You can extend trauma, I believe. I think I've extended that with Symbiote Spider-Man. And she can give deflex. She can also extend the heal blocks and the immunity, which is obviously very nice. She's very squishy though, even with Ghost Rider's passive. I'm not sure she would hold up against the Heroes for Hire team. Then we have Doctor Strange. Now Doctor Strange is a little bit more interesting. Again, he's super squishy, don't get me wrong, but he could flip those death proofs and Elsa can come in and actually kill people, which would be nice. The turn order there wouldn't work. You would have to hold out for Elsa's second turn to use the ultimate. But in the case that Ghost Rider dies, like in this video, he can then just bring Ghost Rider right back, which is another interesting idea. And yeah, he's just a more fun character than I think Mordo is. But let's talk about the nuclear option, and that is Hela. Now Hela has a lot of interesting things for this team. She's Mystic, so she still gets the immunity from Dr. Voodoo. She has that Greg, which is going to turn rewind people. Against the Heroes for Hire matchup, you might initially think this is going to work against you, because every time an enemy dies, even a summon, Colleen is giving offense down to everybody, and Misty is giving speed up to the team. However, Dr. Voodoo kind of counters that. So he's going to give offense up to everybody when an ally dies, and he's going to be giving extra crit chance and extra crit damage when the enemies all have speed up. So I think Hela could be a good sub in here. People probably already have her built up a lot more, so I'm intrigued by that. Anyway guys, that is all I have for you today. That is my second Envoy video. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it entertaining and fun. If you have any questions, ask me in the comment sections below. And as always, stay happy, healthy, and have fun. And I'll see you next time. We're going to have a fun war tomorrow night against Mutiny. So come check us out. Take care, guys. Bye.